Patreon Q&A number 83, part 2. Part 1 was released earlier today. I still want to thank all 128 of my incredible patrons, and I hope everyone out there is staying safe. And there's still going to be spoilers in these questions and answers, so tread carefully after this point. Mellow asks, hey Shonen, which 3 One Punch Man characters have the highest potential to be above Dragon later on through training, fighting, and such, sort of like Garo? So first, we got to throw out Glasses, our boy. The odds of him becoming above Dragon or even like demon level are slim at this point. I mean, I know I kind of perpetuated the legend of him removing his limiter, and I do think that's a possibility, but the amount of time that would need to pass for that to happen, it seems unlikely at this point. So maybe we won't see Glasses reach above Dragon level or anything like that. But as for realistic characters, got to focus on the S-Class. So Child Emperor, in the future, like when he grows up, maybe when he's like 18 or something, in theory, he could be above Dragon because, he's only 10 right now. And apparently he's, just as physically capable as an A-class hero. And obviously he has the intelligence of, the most intelligent S-class hero, debatably. So, once he becomes an adult, he might, his body might catch up to his brain, and he just might be like, the most impressive hero possibly. But then also, we have Zombie Man, who is currently talking to Dr. Genus, maybe something to do with an experiment that he can do on Zombie Man to take him to the next level of power. He said that he couldn't remove his limiter, but maybe he could do something else that can make him above Dragon in power, possibly. Then we have Metal Bat, who the data book, straight up says that when his anger approaches its maximum, his power approaches infinity. So, judging off of all of the other little insights that we got from the data book that turned out to be true, this might be it. And means that like Metal Bat might be in a fight in the future that might push him to the point of above Dragon, possibly. Maybe even God. And then Genos. I think Genos is going to be upgraded into above Dragon level by the end of the series. I do think he'll probably get that. And then for a little dark horse, maybe Tank Top Master does something and becomes that strong, possibly. Just going to sprinkle that out there. Also, do you think Saitama deeply cares about Genos, or is he just indifferent towards him? Thanks for the great content. As always, hey, thank you for the support, Mellow. I do think Saitama cares about Genos, but not deeply. I mean, Saitama can only really care so much about anything due to, the crazy, like what he's gone through when he removed his limiter. Like he lost a piece of himself. His emotions have, been stretched thin at this point. So he can only care so much. So I wouldn't say that he doesn't care about Genos, but I would say that the level of care that he has is not as much as you'd think, possibly. Bryan asks, hey Z-Dog, how's it shaking? Hey, it's shaking good. Bryan, I hope it is for you as well. I want to ask you about My Mask. Do you think he'll stay a monster or possibly revert back to his original human form when he was ugly and just accept it? So I think, there's a few things that could be happening with him. First of all, I think that's likely. That he'll probably just accept being a monster and then just stay in his normal monster form the whole entire time, and then he'll just be like a new type of character that exists in this world where he is a monster, but nobody wants to kill him because he is technically a good guy still deep down inside, and he is still trying to retain his humanity even though he's lost control of his aesthetic. And I think this might tie into the end of the series with the possibility of Saitama defeating God, and therefore it undoes all of the monstrification within the world. That means that anyone who's alive and is a monster will probably not be a monster anymore. Just saying that's a possibility. Or everybody hunts down a My Mask and just the Neo Heroes just annihilate him, which could happen. Second question, if Hawks was in One Punch Man, what do you think his rank would be? He's probably my favorite character from My Hero after seeing him in the anime. Yeah, they really did him well. I was happy to see that. But, he's not really that strong. Not even in the My Hero world is he really in, like, the top of the power scale, I'd say. So if he were to be into, like, the One Punch Man world, he'd be definitely A-class. There's no doubt about that. Minimum A-class hero at the top of the A-class. But if he were to be in the S-class, I think he'd be at the very bottom. His quirk is significant. He can fly. He can control those feathers. He can feel the vibrations. Basically has observation hockey. Super impressive. He's super fast. One of the fastest characters in the My Hero verse, but he just doesn't have the complete package to really rank up there with the rest of the S-class heroes, even the weaker ones. But I do think he is technically capable of being in the S-class, but if he was, he'd be like at the very bottom. But if not, he'd be like the number 1 A-class hero. Crusader Deus Vult asks, Z-Man, how are you doing this week? Hey, I'm doing good, Crusader. I hope you are too. Tis I, Crusader, Holy Land and stuff. Insert random thing here. Crusader, you're breaking the fourth wall on your own bit, bro. My first question is, have you read the webcomic Unordinary? Not going to spoil the main story, but it's about a society of everyone in a super, and they have tiers from 1 to 5 human. Really freaking strong to 8 or higher, having reverse time powers and barriers. They are such a character in the comic who can use people's powers and even stronger and use multiple effects at once, like barriers that crushes you with spikes, or time stop, or super speed and seeing the future. What disaster level would they be in the One Punch Man world universe? So I have not heard about Unordinary, but I've checked it out after you told me about it, of course. And anyone with the abilities to stop time, see into the future, manipulating time, things like that, is like above Dragon, going into God level stuff. Like, I don't know, how fast, truly fast or durable or strength, wise these characters are, but with super significant abilities that are basically like time manipulation and stuff like that, usually goes above Dragon level. I'll just say that for now. My second question is that Sumo Guy on the Bro Heroes, nice, versus Darkshine. I feel like Darkshine could take him because I don't think he has the speed and defense abilities like Red Garo. What about your favorite character killed off screen, Goketsu? Could Fat Sumo Man beat him, and how much do I bench? So I don't do 1 rep maxes, but the most I've benched was 315. But that was like a couple years ago. But yeah, I'm basically just do hypertrophy training. But I do think Raiden, the Fat Sumo Guy you're talking about, could defeat Goketsu. I think that's very likely. I'm going to make a video about how powerful Raiden is soon. And spoiler alert, he's more powerful than Goketsu. Dino W asks, hey, Shonen no chapters this week, but at least DBS is coming up in a few days. My questions have to do with One Punch Man. My first question is, Fubuki and her stupid group are respecting the spirit of the hero rankings by trying to move up instead of puppy guarding positions. How high do you think they will go? I think Fubuki will make S-Class, but what about the others like Eyelashes? So yes, I do think Fubuki is probably going to go to the S-Class. Maybe not immediately, but soon, because there's like that imbalance, and we know that she's imbalanced because of the Neo Heroes, and she said that she was going to go up to A-Class. I don't know, chapter 101 or 3, one of those chapters, maybe 105. So I think once she goes up to the A-Class, they're going to be like, okay, well then you could fit in right here, but then maybe they'll find out that she defeated Psychos, like fair and square, and maybe they'll push her up to S-Class at that point, possibly, or maybe she'll have to prove herself. Maybe she'll have to go against Suiru's sister, and winner gets to go to S-Class, maybe. I don't know, something like that. But Eyelashes, no way he goes to S-Class. He can go to A-Class, because technically he is the B-Class rank 1 hero right now, since Fubuki has moved up. And, the rules about that is that if you're ranked first in your class, you could move up to the next class. So Eyelashes could be like, a B-Class hero if he wanted to. Mountain Gorilla, maybe. But, I don't know. The rest of them, it just doesn't seem likely. My second question is, do you think if Hero Hunter Garo went against the Neo Heroes in the beginning, how would that play out? So he would get completely wrecked, probably. It's hard to say how powerful these guys are because, they don't really have any feats yet, except the existing ones. So I would say that he could probably beat Excel. Excel probably is like the weakest Neo leader, just taking a guess. But aside from that, I'm thinking that these guys would probably school him. Oh, and Suiryu. Suiryu, he would probably be able to defeat him. So I guess Suiryu and Excel would be like the Tank Top Master and the Metal Bat of his experiences here, but I think it would probably stop there. And like I said, hard to say how the rest of these guys rank up, but like Raiden would one-shot him probably. And then the others, I just don't know. And then Blue would probably one-shot him as well. Joe D asks, hey, Big Z, wow, surprised by your answer last week. Can't believe you don't have any anime merch. PM me your address and I'll send you something cool. I don't know about it, Joe. It's all good. My day in the merch sun will come, and I'm probably going to have like a P.O. box eventually, maybe sometime this year, for, people like you that do want to hook me up with stuff like that. But for now, you don't have to worry about it, man. But thank you. I really do appreciate the offer. Do you think Saitama is aware of how powerful he is? Do you think he wakes up every day knowing that he could destroy the planet, or do you think he's just a reasonably in-shape guy with his opponents that need to do more sit-ups? No, I think Saitama definitely is aware of how powerful he is. I think if it was like a full-blown gag series, I think Saitama would probably have that disposition. But, he definitely is aware. Like, he said in the dream that he's the defender of the surface, and you know, also in the webcomic, like, he straight up says that he'll destroy the Earth because of how pissed he is from, like, Rover waking him up. They take that out of the manga, of course, because they need to make Saitama more streamlined. But also, like, when Boros is shooting the collapsed star roaring cannon at him, which he says will destroy the Earth, he's like, okay, well, then I guess I'll just use my serious punch, because he knows that, okay, that could stop something that in theory could destroy the Earth. So he definitely knows. Krillin from DBZ transported into the One Punch Man world. What would his disaster level be? So I'm going to make a video eventually. Don't know when it's coming out, but I'm going to try to debunk how powerful Dragon Ball is in the consensus, especially Dragon Ball compared to One Punch Man. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, Dragon Ball is probably the strongest series, one of them in manga. I'm not trying to debate that. I'm just trying to debate how powerful people think it is overall, and they just throw out these blanket statements saying that, for example, Krillin is a galaxy buster. I don't know, whatever. He's not anyway, but if he were to be in the One Punch Man world, I would say based off of how much stronger everyone else is in Krillin's world, then he'd probably be God. Like I said, Krillin doesn't have these crazy feats that people think he does, because he just doesn't. He's just more so stronger because his friends are as strong as they're perceived to be, if that makes sense. I'll make more sense once I make a full video dedicated to the subject. JustBlazeYT asks, good day, Master Honin. If Awakened Garo can't beat the entire Hero Association without Blast, Saitama, or King, then could he beat the entire S-Class without those three? That's mainly what I was talking about, JustBlaze. Like, I know that you did say the entire Hero Association, but I mean, without the S-Class, they're really just a bunch of, like, mid-level guys. You know, if you have the A through C, and then, I don't know, whoever else that they might have that's comparable to their level of power. I'm just taking into consideration the S-Class. And I do think the entire S-Class, you know, fresh, not weakened or anything like that, without Blast King and Saitama, could probably defeat Awakened Garo, because they're going to have Tatsumaki with them. At her full power, her fight with Awakened Garo will be much different. And then they also have the full power of Drive Knight, who is probably above Dragon, just taking a guess. They have the full ability of Metal Knight, which, you know, maybe high, above, maybe God. I just don't think Awakened Garo, in theory, would be able to take down like 3 super powerhouses like that at the same time, with the backup of all of the other S-Class heroes. And as for Meteoric Burst Boros, maybe he could. Now, I think Blast, well, you have like Blast, Saitama, and King excluded from this, but I think Meteoric Burst Boros would probably have a better chance of taking on the S-Class, because he seems way more fast and more powerful than what we have seen of them so far. And this probably ultimately comes down to Awakened Garo having updated feats in the manga. That will give us a better idea. But right now, I'll just say Boros can win, because of recency bias, I guess. Mr.Awsome asks, Guten Tag, mein Freund. Why gets? I know I butchered that. I'm sorry to all the German-speaking people out there. Anyway, my first question this week is fairly simple. What if King had a little prince? Would his son just be a normal dude, or would he hit the genetic jackpot? So, I'm really unsure how King's powers work, honestly. I don't know if it's like a hereditary feature that he can pass down to somebody else. I don't know if it's some kind of supernatural curse / blessing that has been placed on him and it cannot be passed on to others. I'm not really sure what's going on here. I mean, I know we just got the big reveal of Blast and Blue possibly having Blast's abilities, and I'm sure that's what fueled this question. But as for King being able to pass down the aura, I have no idea, and if I were to take a guess, I'd say probably no. But the second question is, what threat level would you give Guild Tesoro if he were in One Punch Man world? Who would give him the best fight? Anyway, Big Z, hope that Cabin Fever is again. You rock. Hey, thank you, Mr. Awesome. You rock too. So I think Guild would. Man, he's kind of situational because he needs to have the gold for him to be effective and dangerous. So, I mean, if he had like a big supply of gold around with him at all times or something, then yeah, he'd probably be maybe a demon, maybe a low demon, maybe high tiger or something like that. I don't know. Apparently, the gold is more powerful when he's able to manipulate it because, you know, he was taking like Zoro's shots and Luffy's shots and stuff like that. Powerful post-time skip shots. Let me, add that. So, I mean, if he was just going around and had a normal amount of gold, I think an A-class hero could probably take him down, maybe. But if he goes into like the big giant gold man at the end of the movie, then, I mean, he's like easily a demon at that point. Maybe maybe a high demon. Tetsucabruh asks, what's up, Big Z? As I write this, it's Friday, and I'm still eagerly awaiting the One Punch Man chapter. Hopefully it will be out by the time this video is up. Sorry, Tetsucabruh. I don't know if you've heard by now, but it's going to be out tomorrow on Monday. So who would win between Garo during the Orochi fight and All for One during the Kamino incident? So I think that they both could probably win. They're both relative in their power at this point in their own respective series, I suppose. I mean, Garo's durability is ridiculous at this point. He was taking blasts from Rover point blank. He was taking blasts from Orochi point blank. Now, it can be said that they were very likely holding back. Orochi definitely holding back. Rover was never explicitly stated, but we saw that Giro Psychos could, communicate psychically with Overgrown Rover, so she probably told him, like, hey, don't kill Garo, because that would be detrimental to her ultimate plan for him. So he can tank held back blast from Rover and Orochi. Therefore, I'm sure that he could take, the crazy, the spring-loaded air cannons from All for One, which seemed to be like his main method of attack at that point in the series. Now, he can also, do all of the other crazy stuff that, his quirks allow him to do. Is he as fast as Garo? Probably not, but he was able to keep up with All Might's speed, and I assume that All Might is close. Even weakened All Might at that point is probably similar in speed to Garo at that point. So, hard to say, really. I'd say maybe Garo could win, but, All for One could also win this one at the same time. I think they match up pretty good here. I mean, Garo's obviously way more skilled. Second, Mirko versus 3 demons that Garo encountered. I think she could probably take them down. I don't think they're much more powerful than high-end Nomus. Fresh high-end Nomus, I'll say it that. Because she took down what I thought was one of the strongest ones. The one that had the eye lasers and stuff. She ripped that dude's head off pretty easily. So I think that she could probably do the same to the demons here. And she seems to be pretty fast, too. So I think that she could probably get... I mean... all 3 of them teaming up might be difficult for her, but I do think that she could high diff all of them at once, probably. Akroma asks, hey, big bro Shonen, as usual, I'm enjoying your videos from the shadows. Patreon before it was cool. Hey, thank you, Akroma. I remember when you were just a $1 supporter, and then you moved up to 5, so thank you. I do pay attention. You inspire me to make content, and I recently got my first patron. Hey, that's awesome. I'm looking for advice on how to attract more people to my content. Hopefully one day we can make a collab. Keep up the good content, bro. Here's my channel. So I checked out your channel, Akroma, and you're very new. You're just beginning. So the only real advice I can give you right now is just keep practicing. You need to get your reps in. You need to, keep practicing how to make the videos, the editing, the content you're going to use, the studying, the practicing, developing your voice. And that's all I can really tell you to do right now is just keep practicing as much as you possibly can. You need to find exactly what you want to do with your channel, since you don't really just seem to have like one concrete direction that you're going in. But ultimately, the best advice is, make good content, because that's ultimately is going to make your channel grow. If you make good content, people are going to watch it. And the more people that watch it, the more watch time that you get. Therefore, the algorithm is going to take on after that. You'll be showing up more in suggested videos and recommended and stuff like that. Therefore, you'll be able to cultivate a new audience. But for right now, I really wouldn't worry about getting big or any of that. You really need to focus on practicing and getting yourself adjusted. So after a couple months of grinding, I would start, start worrying about other things. But just for right now, just practice. So that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Once again, I want to thank all 128 of my amazing, incredible patrons. Guys, I can't thank you enough for all the support, and I hope everyone's staying safe out there. If you would like to be in next week's Q&A, just simply check out the Patreon. The $5 tier will give you access to this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.